Hi, welcome to Cooking with Amar. I'm Amar and I'm going to show you how to make the best chicken curry you've ever tasted. People have been asking me to put recipes on this particular meal. I cook for large groups, for small groups, for home, personal chefs type meals. Okay. So to start with, I've heated the Dutch oven. I'm using the Dutch oven because of its properties in heating. It's very universal and it's very enjoyable to cook in this. Okay. To start with, I have 2 teaspoons of coriander, 2 teaspoons of curry powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of chili powder. Now this chili powder is super hot, that's why I'm only using half. And then I got 2 tablespoons of garlic pureed, 2 teaspoons of ginger also pureed, 2 teaspoons of salt. Seems like a whole lot, but it'll be all right. Now this is a special meat masala. I've got 2 tablespoons of meat masala, and it really brings out the flavor of the food. And then I have my oils. The 3 kinds of oils I'm going to be using: 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of mustard oil, 2 tablespoons of ghee. I know this is going to be a rich meal, but it brings the flavor excellently. Okay. Then I've got 4 tablespoons of garlic, 2 of which I'm going to use for the curry and 2 for the marinating process. Now all these spices are going to be broken up in half because I'm going to use half for the chicken marinade and half for the curries. Okay. Then I've got chutney. This is you could call it a secret ingredient, but I'm showing you does wonders to curries. Then I've got 2 onions chopped. I got 2 green chilies, 1 on each side, chopped, 3 onions chopped, and I got 5 pounds of chicken. Alright, let's get started. Okay, now the pot is hot, so I'm going to go ahead and add my oil. This is olive oil, mustard oil, and ghee. Okay. Now I want to use all of it. The reason why it's sizzling is because there's a little bit of moisture in ghee. Ghee is clarified butter, which has a water content in it. So I'm going to melt it all. Get all that beautiful, delicious flavor. This is going to be rich, so it's not for all people. If you're on a health conscious diet, you're going to eliminate the ghee. You can add a little bit of margarine if you want to get that kind of flavor, but the ghee provides the best. Alright, the onion is hot, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the onion, leave some of the onion for the marinade. So be careful whenever you're adding water content to oil, it will tend to splatter. So I'm going to go ahead and add onion. plus there's some tomato coming in, it's okay. You're going to add the tomato last. Not at the time when you're frying this, but you're going to add your chili. You don't put the tomato in now, you put the tomato in later. So there's a little bit in there, like right now, it's alright. Okay. So add the chili. Okay, and the rest we're going to add later. The onion, very soft. We're going to go ahead and add for the marinade. Let's get that little sprinkle of onion in that. Okay. Heating the pot up ahead of time heats the oil, so it speeds up the cooking process. Okay. This is going to sweat. You come to it, come back when it's ready. In the meantime, while that is frying, I'm going to go ahead and add half the ginger, half the garlic. Now, garlic is not necessarily available in a puree. If you have trouble finding this, you can go to the Mexican store. Some American stores have garlic, but it's in the pinched form, in the minced form. So we're going to go ahead and add your chili powder and your black pepper. You're going to add half of your curry powder and half of your cumin powder. And then you're going to add half your coriander powder too. You're going to add this and you're going to mix it into a puree. And you can go ahead and add half your salt too. If you don't get exactly half, it's okay because it'll all mix later on with the chicken. Okay, and then 2 tablespoons of yogurt. Alright, and then you're going to mix it with a little bit of water so there's solution. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mix it. When I'm done, we'll be back. Okay, it has been sauteing in here for about 3 minutes. Just mix it and you can go ahead and close it. When the onions turn a little bit golden brown, that's when you're going to go ahead and add the mixture. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to continue mixing the Marsala. As you can see, it's a nice mix. Okay. Be careful when mixing it because the bowl is huge. I mean, the quantity in the bowl is huge. Okay, so be careful not to spill any of it. This is a lot of good flavor. We can go ahead and add some of this chutney in there. This you will only find in the Indian stores. You might find it in the ethnic section, food section of at like Vaughn's but you have to really look for it. Okay. So it's nicely mixed right now. Beautiful mixture. Alright. Let's check this out again. As you can see, the edges are starting to turn a little bit brown. That's when you add this. This is packed with flavor. This is a very easy meal to work with. Now, This meal can be made with potatoes or without potatoes. There are some people who are on carb-controlled diets. You can add it but not eat the potatoes, or you can add the potatoes later after you cook it. It doesn't really come out that well, but you can make it also without potatoes. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to clean the bowl. Clean your spoon out. Don't forget, don't be afraid to use your fingers. Okay. You can use your fingers and clean the bowl. Of course, you wash your hands before starting. Always wash your hands. Maintain good hygiene, because you need to have free from germ-type meal. But every chef should know this. Washing your hands always. Remember also when you're working with meats, you do not want to combine your meats and your vegetables when you're cutting them at the same time, because you don't want cross-contamination, especially when working with chicken. Now you can see, I'll show you a different spoon. You can see it's starting to crust at the bottom. I've talked about this in different meals. You can see a little bit where the white is. It's sticking to the bottom. That sticking is alright. You don't have to worry about it, because we're going to add water to this, and it's going to add to the solution, and it's going to bring that crust. It's going to release it. The crust is good because it adds a nice flavor to it. Alright, I'm going to continue to cook this because this takes a long time to cook. In the meantime, what we'll do is we'll prepare chicken. So, we'll be back. Alright, we've got 5 pounds of chicken here. These are legs and thighs, and I've asked them to go ahead and cut them in half. This the butcher will do for you. He'll be happy to, because you're buying a lot of meat from him. So 2 tablespoons of yogurt. You don't have to worry about the bowl being left with yogurt in it, because then we'll add a little bit of water to it, and we'll go ahead and get the mixture out. Alright. And then we got the balance. We got 1 teaspoon of curry powder and 1 teaspoon of cumin. All of it goes in here. We got 1 teaspoon of salt. You have to add salt to bring out the flavor. And then you have 1 teaspoon of coriander. And then we have 1 teaspoon of garlic. You can use a spoon from that, it's okay. It's all mixed. And then we have 1 tablespoon of garlic, and 1 tablespoon of ginger. Alright. And then of course, delicious chutney. Okay, we're going to clean this off with water. We're not going to add more water, we're just going to add the water that came from this. Don't forget, all your mix. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mix this thoroughly, and we'll be back. Checking this again. Remember, you want to keep adding water. Alright, this has been cooking for about 45 minutes. And you can see how the oil is separated. All this little pattern here is oil. And so we can go ahead and start adding the chicken. We'll add the chicken directly in. Remember, don't pile it up. Just layer it, and moisture from the chicken is going to come out and mix with the gravy. Of course, don't worry about it because we're going to add more water if you think there's not enough liquid. But we need to add the chicken first, and we'll go ahead and finish adding this up and we'll come back. Add all the chicken and I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of water, and we're going to get all the flavors out like this. You can use the tongs to kind of break up the stuff that's hard in the bowl. So let's go ahead and pour all of that in there. And that we're going to add water a little at a time as we cook. You don't want it to. You want the water to go all the way down, and the chicken will release more water. So that's why you don't add a whole lot of water. If you add water right now, it's going to be really liquidy and it's going to take a lot more time to cook because you want the gravy thick. If the gravy is not thick, it'll be watery and it won't be enjoyable. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. At this time, go ahead and add the balance of the tomatoes. I know there's a little bit of onion, a little cook, but you want to add the tomatoes now. If you add them earlier when you're cooking them, they would have broken down and you wouldn't see the red colors in the gravy. Are you going to cook the tomatoes? Of course, but you're not going to get it all pureed and liquefied. So let's go ahead and close this. We're not going to put potatoes in this, obviously. We do it low flow. So now go ahead and close this. And we're going to turn on the fire to a low, to medium low, and let it simmer. So that's it for now, and we'll be back when it's finished. There's nothing more you have to do other than just to watch it and stir it. So for the actual cooking process, we're done. The heat is going to actually permeate through the chicken. It's going to cook it, tenderize it, and that's about it. And we'll see you.